Today I'm making a video on how to get the perfect config in CSGO. This includes Crosshair, Viewmodel settings, and just overall general quality of life improvements. This is the ultimate guide to get the perfect config in CSGO. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into it. Hey, what's up guys, it's Super here and welcome back to another brand new video. And if you guys do enjoy this video or if it is helpful, please do like and subscribe because it does help a lot. Also, hey guys, I have a Discord server and also I stream on Twitch every single day. So go follow me on Twitch, join the Discord server, check out all that stuff, and let's get into it, boys. Alright, so first of all, we're going to cover the best settings in CSGO, but first we're going to actually exit out of Steam real quick. For this to work, you need to have an Nvidia graphics card, so you basically just right click, you click on Nvidia control panel, and then once it opens, you can do a couple different things. So obviously, if your monitor has G-Sync, you can turn that on or off. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. I actually typically have it off. I know it can cause a little bit of input lag, so I just kind of like turn it off so I can get the highest frame rate possible for CSGO. And then you want to go to manage 3D settings. So you go to global settings, and then when you scroll down, there's an option called low latency mode. Typically this is off, but you want to put it on ultra. Basically, this reduces the latency as much as humanly possible, or as much as your graphics card can handle, and it makes the game a little bit easier to play, and it makes it a little bit easier to be accurate. And then you want to go to texture filtering. Normally it's on quality, but you want to put it on high performance. I mean, obviously your games won't look as great, but this will definitely help with just, you know, the overall performance of the game. Like the game will run like so much better. You also want to turn off VSync because VSync is just not good. And that's pretty much it actually. Those are the main things you need to change in the Nvidia control panel to make the game as responsive as possible. And then you click on apply. And then you can also go into the adjust image settings with preview. You go to use my preference emphasizing performance and just click on apply. You pretty much want to put everything on performance over quality. So your games aren't going to look as good, but they're going to run way better. Next up, if you want to play on a stretch resolution, you can go to adjust desktop size and position. You scroll down and then you basically, normally it's on no scaling, but you want to put it on full screen. So basically no matter what resolution you play on, it'll stretch it out to be the full resolution of the screen. All you have to do at this point, if you want to play on a stretched res, is hop back in game. Now that we're back in CSGO, pretty much all you have to do to actually play on a stretched resolution is just change your resolution to I guess a 4:3 one or a 16:10 one or whatever res you want to play on, and it'll automatically be stretched as long as you clicked apply. I actually prefer to play on 1080p, so we're going to stay on 1080p. All right, and then in terms of settings, so the best settings to run, it obviously depends on your computer. If your computer is really OP and you get like a really high frame rate, if you get a high enough frame rate while playing at high settings to get like 300 plus FPS, then you're pretty much good to go regardless. You can play on high settings, which that's what I do, but this is what I would recommend. If you have a less powerful PC, or if you just want to try to get a couple extra frames, you obviously want to keep global shadow quality on high, and you want to keep shader detail on high. These basically allow you to see shadows, which can help with like grenade lineups, it can help you with smoke lineups, flash lineups, and you can also see the enemy shadow too. So having these on is important. But you can turn down pretty much everything else, including like anti-aliasing, FXAA. For vertical sync, you want to turn this off. For triple monitor mode, you just turn it off. And then motion blur, of course, you want to leave it off because motion blur isn't great. Like motion blur actually hurts your ability to play. Also, you want to leave multi-core rendering enabled. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the settings. And then in terms of like the audio settings, just put on like whatever you think is good. All right, next up, we're going to be getting to the part of the video where I'm going to show you guys how to set up the perfect view model and config and all that stuff. So let's hop right into it. There's going to be a couple maps linked in the description down below. So if you need to find the links, just check down below. So the first one is the config generator. And I guess technically you can set up your view model on this one, but I feel like, I don't know, I prefer the other one because it has presets and it's a lot easier to use. It's a lot more user friendly. All right, so here we go. So basically, there's a couple different binds here that you can do. So this is actually a really, really useful map, and it has a lot of really sick things. All right, so anyways, there's actually some binds you can set up. Like you can bind these to different keys, and it makes the whole process so much easier. But you can also just do everything in you can do it like in the console as well. So for clear decals, what I actually personally use is I use mouse 3 to clear decals. That's really useful. To jump throw, I use V. So that way, when you actually jump throw, you press space and V at the exact same time. But you can also do bind. It's like bind N and then negative attack. And I believe that should be the command. If it's not, then I'll correct it on screen. You can also jump on scroll, but for the jump on scroll wheel, you can just do bind mwheelup plus jump, and then mwheeldown plus jump. So that's basically, that's how you bind your scroll wheel to Bhop. It's super simple. You don't even really need this map to do it. And then for recommended, they just have all these different things. You can turn on like, you can turn on net graph. You can also turn it off too. You can change the radar, view model, all that stuff. But this is just what they recommend. The settings that you get from this might not necessarily fit your playstyle. So, you know, you can try it. If you don't like it, then you can switch it up. Oh, but also though, they have custom configs too. So you can play using the configs of a bunch of pro teams. And apparently these are like really outdated. Oh shit, I just messed up. I just messed up, crap. Okay, so I just changed my config to Stewie2K's config. So yeah, that's a big F. But you know what? It doesn't matter. This also has a crosshair generator, but I wouldn't really recommend using this because we're going to be going into a better way to set up your crosshair later. For view model, I guess you can change it here too, but I have another map that's just more in depth and it's just way better. For the HUD though, this is big. So you can basically change the color of your HUD to whatever you want. I usually go with red because that's just what I do. Actually, you know what? Let's try blue. We're going to mix it up a little bit and we're going to go with blue, because I feel like it matches my streams a little bit better. You can change the scale, make it bigger, you can make it smaller. I want to make it as big as possible so I can actually see everything. Horizontal gap, you can change that. I'll leave it like that just because that's what I like. Team numbers, you can turn on or off team numbers. I would recommend having it on so it shows how many people are alive in terms of numbers rather than showing like all the profile pictures. And then colored gun icons, I don't even know what that does, but I'm going to turn it on just for fun. Also, you can put the score position on the top or the bottom. I prefer to leave it on the bottom just because like that's just what I got used to. And then for the radar, what I would recommend doing is I would recommend you want to make it as big as possible. Not too big though, but you want to make it somewhat big. And then you want to zoom it out. You want to get rid of the rotate and you want to center it. If you can see the radar like this, it gives you a massive advantage because if one of your teammates or if you spot the enemy anywhere on the map, you'll be able to see a red dot, so you'll know exactly where the enemy is. And then that's pretty much it for this map. Let's move on to the next map. All right, next up is Crash's Viewmodel Generator, and this is just the Viewmodel Generator that I personally use, and I really do like it. It's pretty dope. Like it gets the job done and it's easy to use, and well, we'll get into it. So basically, the view model that I always use is I use M7. And I do the maximum FOV. You can basically just see more of your weapon. And this is mainly just the best view model for checking out skins that I've found. Because like, you know, when I inspect a gun I can see the entire thing, even the back. And then also in terms of for movement, I put it on the lowest. Then that way, you know, when I'm moving around, there's not a lot of like bob with my guns. Like the weapon, like everything stays pretty consistent. So this is definitely the best map for setting up your optimal, perfect config, your optimal perfect view model. And now guys, we're going to talk about crosshairs and how to set up the perfect crosshair in CSGO. All right, so actually because of a recent update, Valve made it so you can actually customize your crosshair directly from the menu. So you don't even have to like download a crosshair map anymore. They've made it so much easier. And I'm going to be including a bunch of different crosshairs in the description down below if you guys want to go check them out. All you have to do to import a crosshair is you click on share or import. And then you copy and paste the code, paste it, and then you click on import, and boom, now we have a blue crosshair. Okay, I'm gonna go on a different map. Okay, now that the bots are out of here, now we can actually check out the crosshair. So this is what I used to use, but I actually switched it up. Like a crosshair like this is actually pretty useful because it's like, you know, you can see it. There's like there's a gap in the middle so you know exactly where to shoot. Like you have to do a lot of interpretation, like because you don't know exactly where the bullet's gonna land 100%. So there's a little bit of guesswork involved. And unless you're like a top tier pro, you're probably not going to hit 100% of the hit. Like even if you're aiming at their head, there's a chance you might miss. There's also a little bit of inaccuracy in this game too. So that makes it a little more inconsistent. But what I found was having a crosshair kind of like this one, which I'm going to be throwing this one in the description. This will be the second one. I play a lot better with this crosshair versus the old crosshair, just because it's a lot easier to actually line it up on their head because you physically have like a little cross. And also this has a little bit of opacity too, so you can kind of see through it. So if an enemy like walks through it, you're not going to miss them because your crosshair was like blocking your vision. There's like 4 bigger circles and then there's like a little cross right there. And you just want to you want to aim the exact center at the enemy's head and boom, boom, boom. Like everyone's different, but for me personally, I play a lot better with a crosshair like this versus like a traditional like regular pro crosshair. But obviously you can do whatever you want. You can customize anything to your liking. So basically, let's go through all the different like crosshair combinations. So there's obviously the default one, which is just kind of like this crosshair where it moves around and it's just, you know, it's like the default one when you start up CSGO. It's good for beginners, but I don't know, I feel like it's way too distracting. And also there's no customization at all that you can do on here either. So not really too great. You can't change the color. Next up is default static, and this is actually the one that I use, and I just made it like, yeah, I just made it as small as I possibly could. But you can also make it bigger too in case you prefer that. At the end of the day, like your crosshair, your config, your view model, your resolution, it all really comes down to personal preference. So just pick whatever you like the best. Pick whatever works for you. Like just because like a pro player uses like a certain crosshair, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll play well with their crosshair. So all you really have to do is just play around and experiment and figure out like what you like, what you don't like. It can take a very long time to like get your ideal like config and your ideal setup. But yeah, so once you get to the classic crosshairs though, then you start getting more customization. So you can change the length, you can change the thickness, make it extra thick, you can also change the gap, make it extra big. You can put an outline or not. It just depends on you. And you can also change the color to any color you pretty much want. You just have to like play with these 3 wheels, and when you get the color that you wanna use, then boom, there you go. You're good to go. Let's try yellow crosshair. Oh, that looks awful. That looks so bad. Here, I'm gonna copy this code, and if you guys want to use this crosshair specifically, check out the description down below. This is actually so dumb. And then you also have the option to turn on the T style, which basically gets rid of the top, and it kind of makes it more of like a T crosshair. Let's actually make this look more like an actual crosshair. There we go, that's better. And then there's the split size ratio, which is basically like where it splits. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot you can customize. So just play around and figure out like what works for you, or you can check out the ones that I made in the description down below. So the classic one, obviously, it has like a crosshair, but then it has like a smaller part of the crosshair that actually moves. When you walk around when you're not as accurate, it kind of does that. I feel like a crosshair like this would be good though. A crosshair like this is just more for like when you're like learning how to play the game. Because if you're moving, you're not going to be as accurate. But because like the crosshair moves as you move, you know exactly how accurate you're going to be. So like when you fully stop, you know 100% that your shot's going to be accurate when the crosshair looks like that. And that's like one of the main benefits. But it can be a little distracting, and it doesn't work for everyone. So if it doesn't work for you, then you can always try the next type of crosshair, which happens to be the classic dynamic. This one's actually very similar to the last one, except instead of like it having a little segment that kind of breaks off, the entire crosshair moves as you move. So this one's a little more simple, and there's not as much to distract you. But if you'd prefer to go with classic static, I think a majority of people use like static crosshairs. Like it stays the same. It's the same color, it's the same like shape, no matter how much you move. You just have to like know what you're doing in terms of aiming. You have to like, your movement has to be on point to be good with a crosshair like this. That's not necessarily a bad thing. So there's so much you can do. Like there's so much customization in CSGO. Change your settings and figure out what you personally like yourself. And feel free to change it around every once in a while. Now, don't change it every single day, because like if you keep changing your config and your crosshair, you're never gonna get used to one. So what I would recommend doing is pick a crosshair and use it for a couple weeks. And if you really don't like it, try mixing it up. And if you play better with that crosshair after a game or two, then try that crosshair instead. Like a lot of pros actually end up switching crosshairs just because like it doesn't necessarily make you better at the game, but it's kind of like a placebo effect where like because you're mixing the game up, it makes the game more fresh and new in your mind. And I don't know if that's how it actually works. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. Just ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully you guys can set up your perfect config, your perfect resolution, and hopefully also the Nvidia settings will help you play at a higher level because it'll make the game more responsive. And also hopefully you guys can, get your perfect crosshair and just, start playing better and just overall get a better experience while playing the game. Because honestly, the default settings are pretty bad. Let's be real here. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, click that bell icon. And if you watched the video all the way until the end, leave a comment saying #Turbo, my crosshair. Actually, you know what? Let's do something cool. Let's do something interesting. So guys, pretty much pause the game. So hop on CSGO, pause the game, go to settings, and then actually copy your code and post it in the chat. I want to check out some of your guys' crosshairs. And I might actually do a video like showcasing the best crosshairs from the community. So yeah. If you guys want a chance to have your crosshair featured in a video, just copy and paste it in the comments down below. You can also leave you can also leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on the video as well with the code or not. It all really depends on you. Anyways, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go lift some weights. That's completely irrelevant from the video, but I'm just letting you guys know that that's what I'm doing after this video. So yeah, regardless, thank you guys for being a part of the community. Make sure to join the Discord, follow me on Twitch, check out my social media. All the links are in the description down below, and a big, massive shout out to my supporters on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's Turbo, and I'm out. Peace.